Dear friends, welcome to Know Thyself YouTube Channel. Good morning. Hope you are all staying safe and keeping well. I sincerely thank all of you who have subscribed to this channel and follow the channel. If you find the contents of the videos uploaded in this channel useful, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification or the bell icon so that you can be notified when a video is uploaded. Kindly share the videos with others or on the internet. In this episode of Sunday Reflection segment, we present the homily for the Palm Sunday based on the liturgical readings of the A cycle. The readings of the Palm Sunday dwell on the theme, Jesus' passion expresses his love. Two brothers lived together in the same apartment. The elder brother was an honest, hardworking, and God-fearing man, and the younger was a dishonest, gun-tottering, and substance-abusing rogue. Many a night, the younger man would come back into the apartment late, drunk, and with a lot of cash, and the elder brother would spend hours pleading with him to mend his ways and to live a decent life. But the young man wouldn't listen to his plea. One night, the junior brother ran into the house with a smoking gun and blood-stained clothes. He announced, "I killed a man. I didn't mean to kill." Then he said to his elder brother, "I don't want to die. Please save me." In a few minutes, the house was surrounded by the police, and the two brothers knew there was no escape. By now, the police were knocking at the door. The senior brother had an idea. He exchanged his clothes with the blood-stained clothes of his killer brother and offered himself to the police in place of his younger brother. The police arrested him, tried him, and condemned him to death for murder. He was hanged while the junior brother lived. He died for his brother. The death of his elder brother transforms the junior. He not only changes his life, but also lives to love and care for his elder brother's family. The liturgy and the readings of the Palm Sunday proclaim Jesus as the suffering servant of Yahweh, who suffered and died for us, and call us to understand the love he expressed through his passion. The first reading is taken from the book of prophet Isaiah. Middle section of the book of prophet Isaiah from chapters 40 to 55. There are four short passages which the biblical scholars call the songs of the suffering servant. These four songs are about a mysterious figure whose suffering brings benefit for the people. Though in the original author's mind, the suffering servant was a figure of the people of Israel or a faithful remnant within the people, often Jesus saw aspects of his own life and mission foreshadowed in the songs of the suffering servant. And so the church uses these passages to refer to Christ's passion and suffering. In today's first reading, we have the third song of the suffering servant. It speaks of the suffering servant of Yahweh taking upon himself the sins of the world. Despite his innocence, he did not rebel or seek revenge against his enemies. Instead, trusting in God's continued assistance, and because of his love for God and his people, he accepts his suffering. Hence, untouched by insults and not anxious about being put to shame, he moves on to accomplish God's will. In the second reading, St. Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, presents the famous Christological hymn which describes Jesus' fourfold self-emptying, letting go of the divine glory, taking human form by becoming one of us in every way except sin, humbling himself in obedience to the Father's will until death, and offering himself to die on the cross. Because of this fourfold self-emptying of Jesus, God brought to Jesus fourfold glory by raising him from death, by giving him a name which is above every other name, by letting every creature in heaven and earth to bend the knee before Jesus, and by making every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is the Lord and glorify the Father. Therefore, St. Paul admonishes all Christians to imitate Jesus in his fourfold self-emptying in order to share in his fourfold glorification. In the Gospel, St. Matthew, narrating the Passion of Jesus, speaks of the diverse forms of suffering that afflicted Jesus due to the failures of persons who were with him during his last days. Jesus responds to their failures with love and understanding. He also speaks of a few people who stood by Jesus during his passion, such as the women of Jerusalem, Simon the Cyrenaic, Veronica, the good thief, John the Apostles, Mary his mother, and a few other women. Jesus reciprocates their love and concern for him in an appropriate manner to each of them. Thus, Matthew presents the passion of Jesus as a sign of Jesus' love, a revelation of his love, and an invitation to love as Jesus loved. On this Palm Sunday, the readings and the liturgy call us to embrace the suffering in imitation of Jesus' passion. To those of us who live in the era of painkillers, instant gratification, and pain-free living, the passion of Jesus tells us that it is impossible to think of our life to be pain-free. Even the good things that happen in our life by their very nature imply some sort of suffering and pain. Hence, instead of running away from suffering, we must embrace it as Jesus himself has done during the last days of his life on earth. Secondly, the liturgy today calls us to capture the spirit of love inherent in Jesus' passion. The older brother in the story owns the crime and the consequent death because of his love for his younger brother. Similarly, the passion of Jesus is a story of Jesus' love for us. For through his passion, Jesus shows his love. Hence, we are invited to imitate the love expressed by Jesus through his passion in our lives as Christians by spending our lives for the benefit of others. Finally, the liturgy today calls us to live a life of gratitude to Jesus for the love he manifested through his passion. The junior brother in the story responded with the attitude of gratitude to his generous older brother who died on his behalf. This implied not only to live in memory of his brother, but also to care for his elder brother's family for the rest of his life. In the same way, we must live a life of gratitude for the love Jesus expressed through his passion. This gratitude calls for avoiding sin in our life and reaching out in love and concern for all God's people. As we begin the Holy Week, let us ask the Lord to give us the grace to embrace our suffering in imitation of Jesus' passion, to capture the spirit of love inherent in Jesus' passion, and to live a life of gratitude for the love Jesus manifested through his passion by living a life guided by the commandment of love. Amen. Thank you for watching this video. Stay blessed until we see you again with another video.